even though Bottas has a contract, I could see that him being at risk. I think Zhou is out of contract. You've got Theo Pourchaire there in the background.
I was about to say this. One of them has to be at risk.
Loitering.
Because Theo Pourchaire, I think Pourchaire is going to win F2. Mm-hmm. Either way, even if he doesn't, to be fair, if he doesn't, that kind of stinks a little bit because this would be his third season now.
He is still only 19.
Oh yeah, true. I forgot. Fam, yeah, he was a child when he got in.
Yeah,
F2. I forgot about that. Okay, fair enough. Either way, he is probably one of the best junior drivers in F2 right now. Mm-hmm. I'd say it's him, obviously Vesti, people like Behrman, people like Iwasa, and then obviously like what was the other one I was going to say? There was Martins, Victor Martins from Alpine. But Pourchaire is affiliated to Sauber and Alfa Romeo, yeah?
Not Alfa Romeo, Sauber.
Okay, Sauber specifically. I think if you, as Sauber, right, if you've got one of the best junior drivers in F2, there, ready, especially if he wins F2, he can't go back in next season if he does win it.
Good point, yeah.
If he wins it, I don't see how you can go, yeah, you're good in it, but we'll keep Guanyu, Zhou and Bottas. You can't afford to do that as a smaller team. You can do that as Ferrari because you just slap him into a different series or just get him as a reserve driver. Theo Pourchaire is not going to want to be a reserve driver for Sauber if they finish 9th in the Constructors' Championship.
And also, there's a chance, which wasn't a chance
just have to get him in,
that they could keep hold of him. Because like with Charles Leclerc, that was always a stepping stone.
Yeah, because he was a Red Bull, he was a Ferrari junior. Yeah. He was a Ferrari junior, so
it was always a stepping stone. The team knew that. They knew that, right, we're the team that he's going to come to develop and then move to Ferrari. And he did after 1 year. Whereas with Audi coming in, Sauber must know, okay, if we get Pourchaire in and he's that good and he's that guy that he's I mean, so he finished his first year at 21, he finished 5th, won 2 races. Last year he came 2nd, and I mean his last 4 races he didn't score a point. So like for like weekends he didn't score a single point.
Yeah.
So that speaks kind of volumes, right? And he won he won 3 races last year. Yeah. And then this year, he's leading. He's only won once, but he's been consistent. I mean, he's had 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 P2s this year. So yeah, he's been that guy like every single year. And yes, the win hasn't come. He's not quite been able to win the championship, and Drogovic obviously took away with it last year. But I think Pourchaire's always been competitive, which I think is super important. I think when you look at Liam Lawson's junior career as well, he's not won everything, but he's always been like right up there
every single season. Yeah,
and that's like because motorsport you get unlucky, like things go for and against you, and as long as if you're consistent and you're up there every year, that speaks volumes. So yeah, I do think that if you're in charge of that team. Because I look at this year and I think Bottas does have the measure on Zhou but not by much. I look at Zhou as I don't know if you've seen it, Zhou's been posting on his socials because he's been in China, and like the support, the fans for Zhou has been crazy. Yeah. It's like Lando-esque over there. Like, so that's a huge, obviously growing base. And Alfa Romeo, they're the ones who leaked Zhou, remember? Yeah. Do you remember the picture? There was a picture, I think it was in Shanghai, of Zhou on the side of Alfa Romeo, like China's first full-time F1 driver. Yeah. So Alfa Romeo, from a business point of view, and they want to stay in F1, and we'll talk about who they're going to move to in a bit, potentially. And Audi also, they did their F1 car launch in Shanghai. Not their launch, but they did an event with their F1 in Shanghai like a couple of months ago. So you've got Audi, who have big ambition to be within China, and you've got Zhou, who is the single Chinese driver on the grid, who is actually doing better than I think pretty much everyone thought. Yeah. And obviously Alfa Romeo will also have that connection with Zhou. They're the ones who leaked him in the first place. But if Alfa Romeo move over to Haas, which is being suggested, rumoured for next year, then could they take Zhou with them to Haas? Because then we've got to talk about Hulkenberg and Magnussen as well. We need to talk about all 4.
Yeah, like as a collective. Is Hulkenberg out of contract as well?
Correct.
Okay.
He only got 1 year.
Magnussen, okay.
And Magnussen, yeah.
K-Mag, you're in trouble, boy. I'm not going to lie. K-Mag's in trouble.
Yeah, I agree.
Out of all of the drivers that are out of contract, I would say he's the one where I'm like, if he doesn't pull his finger out in the next 2 months, it's a wrap. Like, pretty much nailed on. Unless have just no ambition in terms of like, well, we've got 2 experienced drivers, we're going to carry along that line, whatever. But honestly, even a youngster would put in better performances than K-Mag has this season. Because even if we're looking at the car as like a 1 lap pace guru, but then it falls away in the race, which is fine. You know, there's some cars like that. Hulkenberg is the man extracting performance out of that car. Has K-Mag even got to Q3 once this season?
Well, so Hulkenberg's got to Q3 6 of 12 times. He's got a 50% Q3 hit rate, which is the same as Checo, which is mad.
Fucking hell.
Yeah.
That's a stat. I like that. That's good.
Yeah.
It's good from you.
That was in my quiz as well. Which is... It speaks a lot for, I think, again, Nico being underappreciated. And I think, you know, he's always had great 1 lap pace. You know, yes, he's not got the podium and people like to flog him with that. I think Hulkenberg extension is a no-brainer. I think Magnussen is in trouble. I think Bottas, for me, even though he's got a contract, I think he's potentially in trouble because I think Valtteri doesn't bring that big support from outside, and I think his performances haven't been good enough to be like, I'm your guy for like Audi long term.
Yeah. And this is what I was going to say. If Audi were entering Formula One next season,
by the way, they already own 25% of the team, Audi.
Oh,
already.
Yeah, fairs. Yeah,
so they will have a say.
Yeah, make a decision.
But carry on.
I think if Audi were coming into Formula One next season, it would be a shoe-in for the current Sauber lineup to stay the same. I think because I think you could just about convince Theo Pourchaire, look, listen, it's a big brand, Audi. You're going to be a reserve driver for 1 year, then we'll get you in the car. And he'd probably be like, okay, I'll allow that, fine, whatever.
Yeah.
Or you could ship him to a different car, into a different series for a year, get him some experience, keep him racing, whatever. And Bottas is kind of like a decent enough lead driver for a new project for like 1 or 2 years, and then getting a marquee name. Guanyu, Zhou, obviously, again, they've got that Chinese market to appeal to. But I think because it's 2026, mate, if we're talking about Valtteri Bottas being like, we could get him out of it instead of Guanyu Zhou, he ain't making it to 2026. I'll be real with you. He's not making it another 3 years of like, let's keep him around. He's going to be the guy to spearhead this new. It's not going to happen.
No.
So if you're Audi and Sauber collectively, if you're Audi having a bit of a say in the decision, you're probably going, lads, I'm not going to lie. Do we really need Valtteri?
Well, there's been a lot of talk of science, hasn't there?
Yeah.
There's been a lot of talk of science. You've got Carlos Sainz's dad, who, you know, ex-World Rally champion.
He used to drive Audis in rally.
He still drives Audis in Dakar.
Yeah, okay.
Still does it, yeah. So he's got that relationship with Audi, and that's been heavily kind of rumoured and speculated that they'd like a Carlos Sainz in their team. Yeah, I think Zhou will be okay. I think Zhou will get an extension. There has been, again, rumoured reports that Zhou is going to get an extension for another year, which I think he merits. I think as a package, I can understand that. Is he the next greatest thing? No, but I think he's good enough that I think give him another year.
Yeah, I agree.
But I think Bottas needs to be concerned. I think I could definitely see him getting switched out.
Now, I think he needs to be concerned, but hear me out on this one, yeah?
All right.
If we're suggesting that K-Mag, if he doesn't get his shit together, is out of there, we know Haas are on this very sort of experienced driver vibe right now. They're probably not going to dip into a F2 field for a driver, and also it would probably have to be like a Ferrari affiliated driver, you'd imagine, if they're going to go to Haas there for one season, whatever. I don't know. I don't think there's a driver Ferrari affiliated that's ready for next season. I think Behrman will be sick, but I don't know about next season. He's still like 17, isn't he, or something?
He's just turned 18.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Literally, only just as well.
I'm so old.
How do you think I feel?
Yeah. So I don't think there's anyone there necessarily for the taking. Valtteri Bottas to Haas, experienced driver, consistent, whatever, and you could do a madness with the reveal. Valtteri bought Haas, as in and it's just a print of the Haas logo on his bare buttocks. Boom, easy. He gets a tattoo on there. Say less. That is marketing, bro.
You know what?
That's marketing. That's what he's known for right now, is a mullet and his arse. And a decent amount of the word has is ass.
Yeah.
So there you go.
Yeah.
At least 75% of the word is that.
Wow.